Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we're ranking all the playmaking badges in NBA 2K22 in tiers F through S, so I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff, and like always, just trying to get 1 to 1,000 likes. Now, without further ado, we get straight into this, but as always, if you guys have any feedback with this video, when you see anything pop on the list, feel free to leave it. I'm always here for more information as far as what you guys have to give. I love the glue hands, just feedback that you guys had on the defensive video, as well, how you think it pertains to offense, all types of stuff like that. So when I ask any questions you guys want to answer, feel free to go for it, or if you got any input you want to give in terms of if you think a badge is too low for me or too high, feel free to let me know. Alright, so to get straight into this, as you guys can see, I have no badges in the F tier, and the only badge that I have in the E tier is going to be triple threat juke. I decided to just pop over to the Elgato for this one right here. So you can see, for triple threat juke, speeds up triple threat moves when trying to blow by the defender, raising the likelihood of freezing your opponent. Now, my real problem and beef with this badge right here is I feel like this would benefit a lot of the bigs out there who have maybe really low speed with ball and ball handle, and you don't want to just be openly dribbling and stuff like that, leaving yourself prone to pokes and plucks and all types of stuff like that. But the problem with it is you need to have over 69 ball handle or 68 speed with ball to even have it on silver. And if you have this badge on gold and you have the ability to, that means you have a good enough ball handle to probably get yourself open even without the triple threat. And at the end of the day, I feel like it only benefits the people who can only get it on bronze. So at the end of the day, just not really that great of a badge if you ask me, in terms of its usability for its players and stuff like that. And realistically, if you are a slasher or something like that, you're probably gonna be able to get past them without triple threat. Again, this is more for the taller bigs out there who might be like a tall slasher or something like that, like a 6'9", 6'10" slasher. But if you're gonna struggle with your speed with ball and ball handle ratings, then it's already kind of just a void in the first place. Alright, so back to the list. In the D tier, I have 4 badges. We got Post Playmaker, Break Starter, Downhill, and Space Creator. So a lot of these aren't even that bad of badges, and I want to talk about Space Creator first, because I will say the only reason I have this so low, the hop jumpers, the moving hop jumpers, so I'm talking about the ones where you hop backwards, not the one where you're standing stationary and you just tap the X button or square on PlayStation 5, but the ones where you're moving backwards. I feel like there's not enough good animations in the game. The one I used to love, Hop Jumper Noma 14 from previous games. Not in the game yet. I'm sure it eventually will be in future seasons, but for now, the only really good moving backwards hop jumper there is James Harden. And realistically, you're not going to stun people off that, and the animation takes way too long for you to even get any like shot or drive-by for doing it. So in my opinion, Space Creator will see its way up the list in future videos, but for now, there's not enough good animations in my opinion to actually run this badge or find any use in doing it. If you run ankle breaking shots or something like that, maybe this is going to be relevant for you, but realistically, it's just not that good of a badge currently, just because of the animations that are in the game in my opinion. So then we have the fast break badges. We got Break Starter and Downhill. I feel like all this is good for is Pro-Am, and obviously I did just speak on the fact that yes, most times I'm going to factor in that it's a best case scenario badge. I just feel like this is common sense though. If you're going to be playing Pro-Am and you're a big man, run Break Starter. If you're going to be playing Pro-Am and you're an outlet guy, like you're just on the break and stuff like that, and you do feel like it's going to benefit you, or you're someone who likes to go coast to coast with it, which I'm not going to lie, it doesn't exactly seem to be in any terms like meta or good or really going to get you any buckets or anything like that. And realistically, Downhill isn't really even that comp in terms of Pro-Am anyway. There's so many better playmaking badges you could use in that regard. So I'm just going to sit here and say I think Break Starter is obviously useful when it comes to Pro-Am, but if we're talking 3v3, 2v2, obviously if we're talking 2s or 1s, these badges don't even matter at all, like 0 in the first place. And for 3v3, there's not a lot of space to really like use them so well in my opinion. So fast break is kind of just self-explanatory on 3s. It's either you're wide open down the break or you're not. I don't really think there's many outlet corner 3s, outlet dunks, other than just the ones that were already gimmies in the first place. So I just feel like these badges belong in the D tier. Realistically, the D tier isn't even horrible though either. I think all these badges can have a case made for them. It's just, in my opinion, they're not as good as the ones that are above them. So then we have Post Playmaker. This one is definitely the best of all the D tier badges right here. I do like the utility in it and the fact that you can grab offensive rebounds and kick out to your corners or kick out to the wing and they see a shot boost. But at that point, why not just run Dimer? Now, if you can have Post Playmaker and Dimer and you really like to pass, you really are just an offensive rebounding beast, and you just be grabbing the boards and kicking out, grabbing the boards and kicking out, and your teammates are just really bad and they just can't shoot and they need all the boosts they can get, then I definitely understand this badge, as well as the fact that it helps you for passing out of the post if you're a post scorer yourself. So realistically, this badge could be very good for strictly posts on 2v2, and then solid for the bigs out there who really like to kick out on their rebounds on the O boards and stuff like that. And your point guard and your shooting guard, they really like decks around and they get open off ball when you are going for those boards. But either way, I do believe this badge belongs in the D tier, but it definitely is the best one of all of these 4 right here. All right, so in the C tier, we have ankle breaker, special delivery, glue hands, needle threader, and stop and go. So we got a lot here. We got 5 badges, obviously. Ankle breaker, I will say, is again, same thing with Space Creator. Probably gonna see a buff with the more animations that come out and just people having more creativity and stuff like that. And also, what I want to mention about ankle breaker too is that pluck steals and just stealing the ball in general. Super meta right now, and it's really hard for you to even get off an ankle breaker. We talked about this in the defensive video yesterday, where pretty much I felt like ankle braces wasn't exactly worth running because ankle breaker is not so much worth running either right now. Now, I've ran it on 1v1 court on literally just bronze, and it has fired off a couple times where my defender will literally just get lost, and then boom, just like that, I get a free dunk. And in your case, if you can shoot, you're gonna be able to get a wide open 3-pointer off it as well. But I do feel like this badge makes you very vulnerable to getting plucked and getting stolen if you're trying to spam stuff like this, and I feel like it should only be an accessory badge that maybe gives you a couple wide open takes every now and then throughout the course of a run of you playing for the whole night or something like that. Maybe you get like 4 or 5 free shots off having bronze or silver ankle breaker. If you want to run this on a higher level, go for it. I'm just telling you, I don't think it's smart to spam moves that are going to initiate ankle breakers in the way that the game functions right now with the steals. But the effectiveness of the badge is very good, and I do think that this badge will see its way up the list a little bit in future videos, especially because I definitely think that steals are going to find their way into being patched. There's no way they keep the steals like this all year, and you know, some people might think it's good, some people might think it's bad. Either way, one thing you can't deny is that the player base itself is not going to continue to play the game if it keeps on acting like this. So you already know it's eventually going to get patched. Just enjoy it while it's here, or you know, hate it while it's here and just deal with it. But anyway, so check this out with special delivery. This badge last year, it was all tied to flashy passes and lobs. Now last year it was really bad because sometimes it forced you to throw like lob passes off the ground. Now what it was really good for, and what actually broke the game with it as well, was that when you would flashy pass, it would give your teammate a crazy takeover boost if they made a shot off of it, and dudes were getting like literally team takeover in one shot. So this year it doesn't have anything to do with takeover. I've tried it a couple times. I was wondering like, why am I not getting boosts? Like I literally asked my team like yo, you got special delivery on still, right? And they're like, yeah, on gold. I come to find out it doesn't even boost your takeover anymore. What it actually does is it increases your chance of making the shot off of the flashy pass. So this badge is like extra dimer for flashies. Now I think this is what this badge should have been in the first place, and that's what I think flashy passers should have been too, where pretty much if you want to be on some CP3 Magic Johnson stuff and you have, you know, a wide open pass that you can see, or you think that you're going to be able to get there with the flashy pass, pretty much you're giving your teammate an extra dimer boost. So that's actually a really cool addition. This also helps you complete alley-oops from the passing end, like it makes it for more accurate passes. I will say lobs seem to be very easy to complete anyway in terms of the passing side. The finishing side is where it all comes down to, but regardless, I don't think you need this. And then it also says enables the ability to throw alley-oops off the backboard. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Like I said last year, you would throw it off the ground sometimes and it was really devastating. Like it was not good for the sake of you completing a wide open alley-oop or anything like that. But either way, I feel like this badge is a little cool idea in terms of the fact that it boosts your shot off of it, but realistically it's gonna be hard to just do that in general or thread it to your teammate or anything like that. I think it's more of a 2s badge right here. It's not gonna be any good for 3s or pro-am or anything like that, just because it's hard to fit that in with more defenders on the court and stuff like that. Alright, so now we got glue hands. Now this badge is really weird because I feel like this shouldn't even be a playmaking badge in the first place. I feel like this is more of a finishing badge or a shooting badge than it is playmaking, but either way, it's in the playmaking category. It's more for the receiving end if you ask me. So it says reduces the chance of an errant pass while improving the ability to both catch tough passes and quickly make the next move. So to me, what this badge is really good for, and I've tried running it on bronze and silver and stuff like that, I think it's a waste to put it any higher than that for the sake of the badge budget of your playmaking. And in the first place, if you're a big man that doesn't have any playmaking, it's probably gonna be a little bit tough for you to catch those passes and make quick moves out of it. And if you don't have any playmaking, your pass accuracy is also pretty bad. But anyway, for me, I'm going off pick and rolls, I'm slipping. The corner drops and I'm spamming my A button over to the corner. The glue hands, I really do feel like, is making my ability to pass to that corner instantly even more enhanced. So I'm literally catching the pass, whipping that thing over to the corner off the A button spams. It's beautiful. I used to do this in 2K17, and I gotta say, it's so nice to have the tap pass back pretty much. And I maybe am crediting glue hands for that too much, but it does also say it helps you catch tough passes and quickly make the next move. So I don't know if that exactly means what I'm thinking of in terms of making that pass quickly, but even if you're like a shooter on the wing or anything like that, it may also help you in terms of making a quick little jab step out of the wing or something like that. But again, glue hands, solid glue badge. I mean, it belongs here in the C tier because it's solid, but it's not anything amazing or anything like that. So now we got needle threader. This badge again is more so tied to Pro-Am than anything, if you ask me. I will say obviously for 3s it's decent. I don't think you need this badge on 2s at all though. If you can't read a second defender and make the pass when it needs to be, or it's wide open, then that's just your own problem in the first place. For 3v3 it's even still very easy to pass the ball, and it always has been and it always will be. It's just not enough defenders on the court to really cause enough havoc for you to have to make reads or get bailed out for a really bad pass that you might make. So anyway, I do feel like needle threader belongs in the C tier. You know, in terms of 3v3 and 2v2, it probably belongs in the D tier if we're being completely honest. You don't really need this badge, and nobody's ever going to run it on Park. But it is so nice to have in Pro-Am, and I will say a lot of these top point guards, they're probably running this thing on Hall of Fame. So in terms of Pro-Am, it definitely weighs it up on this list, and I got to say, for Pro-Am alone, it's probably an A tier badge. I'm not going to go as far as an S, though. It definitely is an A tier, though. But either way, needle threader, it does what you want it to do this year. It makes it harder for people to play your passing lanes. Also on top of that, when people are whiffing on passing lanes, they are going flying, and they just are out of plays if they miss on the passing lane. So needle threader is going to help you with that, and overall, I think it's a pretty good badge. So now we got stop and go. I've always had a beef with this badge. I really just never understand when it works and when it doesn't. I watch my point guards. Sometimes there's manual quick stops in the game where you can just flick down on the stick and shoot right away. So I always think in that moment, I'm like, what would you possibly need stop and go for other than, you know, just for that really? And if you can already do it with no badge, then what's the point in it? Now in this game, you let go of everything to actually stop and go and stuff like that. And you can also kind of chain out of it really quickly in terms of if you do stop and then boom, nice little speed boost out of that. I gotta say too, with all the left-right movement in like just the left stick in this game, of all the people, I'm not gonna call them bots, but like, you know, all the people who aren't really dribbling the ball too much. And I don't blame you either, because with the way that pluck steals are in this game, the less you touch your right stick, the better. If you can get open with just your left stick, more power to you. But anyway, with all the left sticking in this game going on, I will say stop and go definitely finds its way to be somewhat useful for those types of people as well. So overall, decent badge. Again, I don't feel like it belongs any higher than this, but it is what it is. Alright, so check this out. In the B tier, we have bailout, hyperdrive, tight handles, and floor general. Now, I just wanted to show you this spot right here and pretty much let you see all 4 of these badges. But what I do want to say is I feel like hyperdrive, it should have belonged in the C tier. However, I just felt like it was a little bit higher utility than any of these badges, and I wanted to maybe make its case. But it's definitely the worst B tier badge that we have, and it would have been the best C tier. So I felt like it belonged in the B, but it does stand out a little bit compared to these 3. I feel like these 3 badges are definitely better than hyperdrive, but I want to make the case for hyperdrive first and foremost. So with this badge, obviously it's tied to slashers super heavily, and if you're doing downhill movements and stuff like that, it's going to boost the speed of the animation and your speed in general. Now that's really cool. I think that's really a huge deal for slashers when it comes to their dribble moves of, like, you know, Pro 3 behind the back, or aka the Damian Lillard behind the back. Now that's super fire. Now what I also want to talk about is for point guards that are getting pressed by those lockdowns that are going crazy on you, hyperdrive is probably your saving grace when it comes to people who are pressing on you. So I just gotta say, for downhill movement and downhill dribble moves, this badge is fire. I would recommend it 100%. If you got enough playmaking badges and you're a point guard who is getting pressed out of his mind, or if you're someone who likes to ISO, this badge is really fire. And then for slashers as well, really good. However, it doesn't exactly fit everybody in that sense. And because the badge doesn't work in a standstill situation or in a pick and roll situation, or really in many ISO situations where you're standing at the top of the key still, it's really only good for, obviously, like I said, downhill dribble moves. Anything that's pretty much moving crossover, moving behind the back, moving spin, all types of stuff like that. I bet you a dude like Steezo would go crazy with this badge though, with how much just crazy movement there is and tied to his dribble moves and stuff like that. And how many moving crossovers and behind the backs and stuff like that kind of start from a standstill position just because he's dribbling like a hit, going crazy. And I gotta say, I bet you a dude like him is gonna go crazy with this hyperdrive, even as just an ISO dribbler. But anyway, moving along, we got bailout. It's the same old good old bailout pretty much. You guys know what it does at this point. Obviously, for passing out of a shot attempt that you're going up with, or a layup or anything like that, it helps you make the pass. Now, one thing I want to say about it is I feel like the reason it's not quite as good as it's always been is that if you run this on bronze, you're still obviously making those same kind of bad passes that you always did. Obviously, for Hall of Fame and gold, it's going to be on target and stuff like that. But what I think is the reason that I'm going to have this a little bit lower than it usually has been is with glue hands, I feel like the receiver needs to have glue hands to actually catch the ball properly now, instead of where bailout, it used to just be, if you had it on bronze, you could pretty much make any pass you wanted to. It would still hit your point guard's hands, or whoever you're passing out to, right? It would still hit their hands and they would still catch it, but it was just kind of, you know, it took a little longer sometimes. And sometimes it was perfectly on target. But now it does feel like they need to have glue hands to kind of make the catch some more smooth. So I feel like these two badges kind of tie into each other in that regard. And without it, bailout still gets the job done, but it's not very on target anymore in that sense. So now we got floor general right here. Floor general is a fire badge. Now I'm talking like if you're not a point guard and you're a lockdown or a big man that has 88 pass accuracy, you can have this on gold. 78 pass accuracy will give you silver, and then 68 gives you bronze. Now, honestly, if you only have it on bronze, not worth running anyway. If you have it on silver, that's pretty valid. I would say that's a pretty good boost to your point guard's offensive ratings. If he's getting +2 ball handle, +2 speed with ball, and +2 3-pointer, then I'm sure he would definitely appreciate that for the sake of you using it with maybe 2 or 3 of your playmaking badges, especially if you're someone who's spotting up in the corner for the time being. Obviously a fire badge. Now for me, I have this on gold, and I think that's going to be really good for the sake of playing stage 3s or anything like that. In Pro-Am, absolutely someone needs to have this badge on gold at least. Hall of Fame is a different story. You need to have 98 pass accuracy to have Hall of Fame, and nobody has that besides the point guard. And I would not use this with your 6 badge points as a point guard if you had that. I just don't think that's worth using. I think someone else on the team who isn't the ball handler should be using it. So if you're a big man that has 88 pass accuracy and you want it to have that crazy break starter, bullet passer combo, and you also have the ability to run floor general, you have a fire build. It's going to help your point guard a ton. It's going to help all your spot ups across the board when it comes to 3-point shooting. Unfortunately, you as the tall big man are not going to be having that boost, but people are going to love you for it. So really good badge in that sense. So we got tight handles in the B tier as well. I gotta say this badge is very effective in the terms of ISO. It still works in pick and roll, but for ISO, I feel like it's super effective because it's gonna stun your defender. He is going to be all over you trying to go for steals and stuff like that. If you're lucky enough, now this is where it all comes down to, right? If you're lucky enough to not get plucked while doing a size up or something like that, and he does get froze, and then on top of that, after he's done being froze, if he goes for the reach in and he's already behind you, just like that, you got a wide open 3-pointer with, you know, at least gold blinders or something like that, and it's just gonna be super easy for you to cook up with 3-pointers. I feel like tight handles is a badge that a lot of people might be sleeping on. I might even be sleeping on it too. It might be an A tier, but tight handles, definitely solid, definitely gets the job done for what you want it to do this year, and it's looking real devious in terms of ISO offense. Alright, so now for the A tier, we got 2 must-have badges for the point guards. We got quick chain and handles for days, and then we have a very, very luxurious badge right here. So we got Dimer. Now, I know a lot of people feel some type of way about Dimer in these games where it's easy for everybody to shoot, right? Your first impression as a point guard is like, yo, if you can't hit with a spot up in this game, then you're just bad. Now, I feel like it's a really bad mindset, in my personal opinion. I think if you're somebody who is going to come out here and play with people that aren't the best in the game at what they do, even the best, like the absolute best, I've never seen anybody with over a 83-point percentage in this game. Just keep that in mind. That means people miss. People do miss, even if they're a spot up or something like that. And realistically, if you do run this badge with somebody of lesser talent or lesser skill, so to say, when it comes to the game and shooting and spotting up and stuff like that, or if you're a big man who has this badge and you like it for the pick and roll sake, and when you get the ball on those pick and rolls, you want people to cash out when you hit them, or if you're a post scorer as well, the badge is good. We'll just put it that way. Now, again, to come back to the whole point guard topic, I see a lot of you guys out here that would be good. Like your win percent really could be good. And maybe you play with bots too, and you're just actually good, and you carry your friends and your teammates and stuff like that, right? But you're out of your mind if you're running with friends, IRLs and stuff like that, and you're good and they're not, and you're not running Dimer. Like, why would you not do that? You're trying to help your guys actually be productive, and honestly, if you're not running Dimer for your bad teammates, you're just on some ego stuff right there. That's about as simple as it is, if you ask me. Anyway, moving on to handles for days. Super essential badge. You can even put this in the S tier if you wanted to in terms of this. I will just say though, you know, you can still get by with the badge on a low level or not having it if you're, you know, very basic with your dribble moves and you just do a lot of sprinting, or if you're more of a slashing point guard or something like that, or you just take the drive when it's there. Pretty much, I'm just saying, when you take what the defense gives you, you don't really need handles for days. But for those PGs out there who are just all outside, you're going off the screens, you're finding that 3, you're hunting for that 3 real hard, and you play with probably an inside big man as well. Handles for days, super important. Obviously, it's probably, you know, it's definitely between the A and the S tier. You'll see what the S tier badges are, and you can decide whether you think handles for days belongs up there. I will say I think handles for days is probably the best A tier badge in this category. So then we have quick chain as well. This one's more of a luxury, I will say. Not all point guards need to combo to get open. That's just what it is. And especially in the game right now with pickpocket and pluck steals being a thing, it is a little bit hard to chain moves and stuff like that, because the more animations that you allow these dudes to go for the plucks on, the more animations that you are going to be allowed to be stolen on. But I'm just putting this badge up here for the sake of, I already know this is going to be super meta throughout the course of the year. Even if the plucks like don't get nerfed, this badge is still good. And if they do get nerfed, this badge is going to be very necessary in terms of getting yourself open as a point guard that's using pick and roll. And even for the sake of ISO, a lot of people are just going to want this badge because it looks cool too. So it is what it is. But for pick and roll, very essential. I think it's really nice for your point guard to be able to shift his ball hand in any which way he wants, whenever he wants. And quick chain is going to allow you to do that. So very good badge. Alright, so into the S tier, we have quick first step, bullet passer, and unpluckable. Now, we'll just start with unpluckable because it's obvious why this is up here, right? We've already talked for like multiple videos about the pluck steals and stuff like that and how meta they are in this game. I don't want to keep pushing the issue with this and just keep spamming the talk of this, but it's definitely the talk of the town, so to say, or the talk of the city, I guess, to be corny. But anyway, unpluckable, super necessary. There's a lot of PGs out here who are literally making super short builds to just literally have unpluckable at its highest level. You need 99 ball handle to have Hall of Fame unpluckable, mind you. Now, the next level that you get this is at 87 to get gold. A lot of people have this badge on gold, but I do want to also mention to you guys too, there is a takeover for the lockdowns called perimeter badge drop. Now, I want you to be very wary of this because you have badges like Menace that are going to drop your attribute ratings. You have takeovers like perimeter badge drop that are going to drop your badges by 1 level. I'm just telling you guys out here what I'm doing as a lockdown. I'm running Menace. I got high steal rating and I have perimeter badge drop on pretty often when I'm playing comp stuff. So with all that in mind, if you only have gold unpluckable and you have maybe like 91 ball handle or something like that, your ratings are getting dropped and you have silver unpluckable when the takeover is active. And then on top of that, with the lock take active, that's still a boost of like 8 to your steal rating and stuff like that, which is already probably through the roof too. So I just want to welcome you guys to the thought of maybe the fact that builds that are super short to have the Hall of Fame unpluckable actually might be really worth running. At least with the way that the game is constructed right now. I'm not gonna lie though, to have 99 ball handle, I'm pretty sure you need to be like literally 5'10", maybe even 5'9". I think 5'11" could get the job done. I'm not exactly sure when it comes to all that, but you definitely have to be 6 foot or shorter. All right, that's how I see it. That's how I know it. I'm positive when it comes to that. But unpluckable at the highest level you can put it, super important as of how the game stands right now. Bullet passer, super fire, but again, to have this at the highest level, you're gonna need 97 pass accuracy to have Hall of Fame, which is definitely a pain, but gold looks very good as well, and all you need is 85 for that. And then I would just pretty much base your pass accuracy that you put on your build based on this. It's very easy to meet these thresholds. So I think everybody should have at least 70, unless you're a complete spot up lockdown and you're just only gonna rock out with maybe like 51. I promise you need at least 51 though. You want bronze bullet pass. If you don't have that, you're throwing floaters all day. You are just throwing absolute Stevies, even when a dude is wide open, and it's just gonna sit there and fly in the air for like 3 seconds to the corner. And then by the time that happens, the defender's already either there to contest the shot, or he just intercepted you or something like that. So I think you should have at least 70 pass accuracy, which will let you get the silver. Or you should have 85 that'll let you get gold. I think 85 is really good. I think gold bullet passer is really, really elite. And there's some point guards who are going to come out here for Pro-Am, and they're literally, again, making a super short build for the sake of Hall of Fame unpluckable and Hall of Fame bullet passer, and obviously Hall of Fame quick first step. So with all that considered, if people are making under 6 foot builds to have all 3 of these things on Hall of Fame, mind you, quick first step, you only need 92 speed with ball to have on Hall of Fame. So I don't think you actually have to be under 6 foot, but for the sake of these 2 badges right here, super fire, and to have them on Hall of Fame, you really got to make some sacrifices, man. It's definitely tough, but these are some really, really elite badges when it comes to what you can do with them. And Bullet Passer, it really makes it so people cannot cheat off those corners at all, and you can really just thread the needle and zip that thing like LeBron. It's really crazy. So for quick first step, I mean, is there really much more that needs to be said about this? It's the staple badge of all point guards and dribblers. Honestly, it's probably the best badge in the game in terms of the playmaking, obviously. You can even make the case, though, for the best badge in the game just in general. And eventually I might even just rank all these badges and their categories against each other. So rank playmaking against finishing, shooting, and defense and stuff like that too, and put all of the badges in one tier list. I do feel like quick first step will definitely compete in terms of like top tier badge, and it'll definitely still be in the S tier. It'll still be probably debatably one of the top 3, top 4 badges in the game just in general, and it's super important for movement when it comes to point guards. I mean, or just anybody really when it comes to movement. You really don't go anywhere in this game if you don't have quick first step. Now what's really nice about this too, it's actually pretty accessible to almost any build. Even if you're like super tall, like I'm talking 7'3", you could still have bronze quick first step. If you're 7 feet tall, you could almost still get silver, and a lot of builds can get silver in this game. A lot of them can get gold too. Not a lot can get Hall of Fame. You do have to be pretty small, like I'm talking probably like 6'2", 6'3" to have Hall of Fame quick first step, but it is still accessible to a lot of people because that's a pretty popular point guard height this year. But anyway, that's all for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff. And like I said in the intro, let's try to get 1 to 1,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put play in the comments to show your support's made all the way through. And like I said, feel free to leave any feedback in the comments of what you think about any of these badges. Let me know if you think I'm sleeping on anything. Let me know if there's anything that you want me to know that I didn't mention in the video. Feel free to leave the feedback in the comments on this one. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed, and stay tuned for any of these other videos. I will be doing takeovers and takeover perks as well. I want to get a little bit more information on that stuff though, so it might be a little bit delayed. I just want to make sure I know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to these videos and give you guys the right insight and right information when it comes to it. So anyway, it's off vid. Hope y'all enjoyed. And that, take it easy, man. Peace.